This is AHMED for IFL TV in association with MTK Global, and we're in Las Vegas. The new home of Chris Eubank Jr. Makes his American debut. Does it feel like it's been a long time coming, December 7th at the Barclays Center?
It really has. Started my amateur career out here, so I'm not unfamiliar to boxing, being active out here in the States. I train out here a lot, but never fought as a professional in America. So that is, it's always been a dream of mine. It's always been a goal to fight in these big arenas, these big events in the States. And we finally got one. Barclays Center, New York. New York, I've always wanted to fight in New York. I love that city. Train here in Vegas, but New York is, I don't know, something about that city that excites me, so I'm very happy.
You signed the PBC and AHMED a while back. So your last fight was in February in the UK with James DeGale. Why the wait? Has it been frustrating? It's nearly been a year now. So you're going to fight, as I said, on December the 7th. Why the wait?
Yeah, wow, nearly been a year. That's not what I signed up for. It's not what I thought was going to happen. But boxing is boxing. Sometimes things don't go as planned. I was supposed to fight 3 times this year. I'm fighting twice. It could be a lot worse. I could have not got any fights, but it's a good fight. It's a solid fight, and I think once there's been some teething problems, obviously with me, being with a new outfit, American, obviously living overseas. It's been hard to pin down dates, but once this fight is done, I think the ball will be rolling fully, and I'll be able to be very active in 2020.
When it was announced it was Matt Korobov, there was a few raised eyebrows. Very good fight. We've seen Korobov in high-level fights before, but he's not got a massive profile. So people were kind of thinking, if you beat him, you're still not really going to get the credit maybe from the wider audience because he is not known. Although, as I said, it is a good fight on paper. So were you happy with the opponent selection? What was on the list apart from Korobov?
AHMED is a mastermind. PBC, Showtime, they have a solid plan for me, and Korobov was what they have chosen, or who they have chosen for me to fight first out here. He's well known in the boxing world. Tough opponent. I believe he beat Charlo in his fight with him last year. It's just one of them things. I'm following the game plan. This is the first step in a long journey out here in the States. They can't all be mega fights. You've got to work your way up, and I think this is a great starting point for me.
Went the distance with Charlo. Are you looking to put a statement and stop him?
Absolutely. I'm not coming here I'm not having my first pro fight out here to go the distance or to coast by. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to stop this guy, and I'm going to stamp my authority on the middleweight division and make a name for Chris Eubank Jr. in the States. Let them know who it is.
Back down at 160, your natural weight. Do you think that's going to benefit you a lot, Chris?
I do. I believe that these last few years fighting these big guys, 168 super middleweight, it's been a challenge. I've given away a lot of weight, a lot of advantages to these guys because I'm not naturally a super middleweight. I'm having breakfast the day of every weigh-in to make 168, and I stay at that weight all the way up until I get into the ring. Whereas these guys, they're getting into the ring on the night, 180, 185, 190. They're much bigger guys than me. So now that I'm down to 160, my natural weight, I think I'm going to be very strong, very powerful, and I'm going to take these guys out.
Mentioned Charlo, obviously with AHMED and PBC. Do you think that's a natural fight down the line if you come through December 7th?
Yeah, he's a big name out here. I'm a big name in England, so it's only natural that eventually our paths will cross. And when they do, I will deal with him like I deal with all my opponents, in a savage manner.
Okay. Now, you put out a tweet to Eddie Hearn the other day. As I mentioned, there was a few raised eyebrows about the Korobov fight. Eddie praised the fight in terms of how good a fight it was, but was questioning why you took it. Just talk me through the tweet you put out.
It's nothing. I mean, the tweet explains itself. You know, Eddie's he's got a lot of opinions about my career, but at the end of the day, I'm not with Metro. I'm not with the Zone. So really, I'm not sure why he's so worried about what I'm doing. He talks about me and Smith and Saunders. Those fights are still there. Those fights are still there to be made. But I'm going at my pace. I'm doing things. I'm doing things my way. Matchroom is not. They're not the only boys in the playground. And there's some very, very big fish out here in the States, and now I'm swimming with them.
How do you think Eddie's done so far with the Zone? He's been in the market, the American market, for just over a year now. How do you think he's getting on?
Yeah, listen, it's doing well. It was a good show last night. I was ringside at the Canelo fight.
Well, Eddie actually had nothing to do with that technically, but.
Oh, okay. Well.
Golden Boy card, yeah.
Oh, it was Golden Boy.
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw the Zone on.
The Zone is the platform, so they work with Matchroom and Golden Boy. There was no Matchroom fighters on the bill last night.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, anyway, it's one of them things. I'm sure at some point down the line, me and Eddie will work together again. Whether that's just me fighting one of his fighters or whatever the case may be. But for the foreseeable future, I am with PBC, Showtime, and I'm looking to make my name here in the States. This is, it's uncharted territory for me. I've done so much in England, and now I want to do so much out here. This is the possibilities are endless out here, and there's a lot of money to be made. So I'm very excited.
I guess, yeah, Eddie comes into this conversation because he's got Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders. He's mentioned your name about fighting them potentially. Was there any offers put to your promoter and yourself about a fight with Billy Joe or Callum Smith?
I don't believe so. I haven't been told about anything. I've heard Eddie say in interviews, there's, Callum Smith, Saunders, great fights, but I don't think there's been any official contract written up, any official offers. So really it is all just talk at the moment. That is Eddie's specialty. He loves to talk. But at the end of the day, money is king, and I'm in a very, very good position at the moment.
There was another big announcement about you, that you're going to be working on the Sky Show next week. You told me you're flying out to LA on Wednesday. Obviously your mate KSI is headlining, but also two-weight world champion Billy Joe Saunders, your good old friend, is on the bill. Is that a fight, Chris? I know you've got your own route with AHMED, etc. You've got a big fight coming up that you have to get through. But that Billy Joe Saunders rematch, that is the big one, I think, because of the needle, etc. Do you want that in 2020, or are you not concerned?
Saunders has kind of fallen off my radar. There's so many huge fights out there for me to have, so much money that can be made with, so many different names for me personally, that Saunders is kind of like, it's more personal than anything. Obviously we've got the history in that, but in terms of business, I can get business anywhere and everywhere, whereas Saunders can only make money fighting me. That's the only way he's going to get a big payday. He's never had a big payday in his entire career, so he's dying to get in the ring with me so he can make a bit of money. I've had the big paydays, and I've got the big paydays coming. So, for me, it's not such a huge thing anymore. Obviously, if there is an opportunity to make the fight in the future, I'm never gonna say no, because we have to set the record straight. But so many years have gone by now that it's kind of like I'm definitely not holding my breath. It isn't the be all and end all. I think I beat him in the first fight. A lot of people feel the same way. So it's not so much about I've got something to prove. It's not like he beat me up and embarrassed me or anything. It was a split decision. So for me, really, it's not about personal vendettas. It's about what is the best strategy for me to make my name in the world scene. Who are the best fights to take for me to get to the real big time. To be and that starts with fighting here in America. you know, you can only get so big in England. Eventually you have to come over here and fight and perform, and that's how you reach legendary status, I believe. So we're starting the journey.
Okay, just to round off on Billy Joe though, do you truly believe that he can only make money off you? There's Golovkin with Matchroom, Canelo fights on DAZN. Eddie has mentioned he's going to try and make that Billy Joe Saunders Canelo fight for Cinco de Mayo. Do you actually truly believe you're the only person he can make a payday off?
I mean, anyone who fights Canelo is going to make money, so that point is invalid.
Do you think he will get the Canelo fight, Billy Joe?
He won't fight Canelo. You know, he only wants to fight easy opponents. You know, they're cherry picking everything until they can get a fight with me. You know, without me, nobody cares about him. You know, there's nobody there that's interested in seeing him fight. He's not an exciting fighter. The only reason they want to see the fight between me and him is because of our history. Aside from that, nobody cares about him, apart from his hardcore community of boxing fans. So, like I said, you know, in the future, if it comes about and it links in with the timeline that I have, then we can make the fight. If not, I'm good either way. I'm happy.
Okay, just to round this interview off, because we are getting a hotel, thoughts on Canelo Kovalev last night? I know you were there ringside.
Terrible fight. Kovalev, it seemed like he was trying his best not to hurt the guy. Pitter-pattering. It was like sparring session until he got knocked out. I don't know what it was. It was very strange to see someone who's shown so much power, so much devastating knockout power throughout his career, you know, just tapping Canelo for however many rounds it went. But it is what it is.
Chris Eubank Jr., appreciate your time on IFL TV in Las Vegas. I'm sure we'll catch up with you next week in Los Angeles, where you'll be working for Sky. Is there anything you want to add?
No, stay tuned. December 7th, Korobov, New York City. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful debut.
Thank you, Chris. Cheers.